We got a question to answer today, and I want you to be a part of the discussion as usual. How much farther can fragrance flankers go? Now, this is a futile question because in the effort to make that money, brands will find a way to continue a line. They will find a way. They will continue down a trend. They will start a new trend. I do like new trends. I'd love to see more of that, but they're going to find a way. There's no stopping them. There's no little guy like me, just a little fragrance reviewer who will do anything to stop them in their tracks. But I'm asking the question. We're going to dive into this a little bit today. Over the years, we've seen a steady progression of some of the biggest fragrances in the designer realm on the market over the past 20, 30 years. And flankers have become more commonplace within the past 10 years or so. That has become the most standard way of releasing new fragrances for a lot of these brands. And a lot of the time these days, we're seeing concentration as the largest iteration of a new fragrance or of a flanker. Brands like Dior and Chanel and Armani and others have taken some of their biggest releases, their most popular fragrances, up to the parfum or elixir degree. Dior is currently leading the pack, I would say, with elixir. I think Paco Rabanne just released 1 million elixir, which I haven't tried yet. So they're one of the next ones to come into the fray of this upper realm of concentration flankers. We'll just call them that. Now, these fragrances are supposed deeper and richer versions of their predecessors. And that's cool. That's fine. But this is a very clear trajectory. And again, how much further can it go? What will Dior do next with their biggest selling fragrance in the past 10 years, Dior Sauvage? They've already made an eau de parfum. They've made a parfum. They've made an elixir. They made a very cool spray. They went the other way and went fresher. What's next? What's next? The last thing that they gave us recently was a 100 milliliter version of Dior Sauvage Elixir now. For more money, of course, even though the smaller bottle is going to be plenty for you because it is so freaking strong. You don't need more than 2 or 3 sprays. You won't finish it for years. Just saying. In terms of Dior, I do give them credit for taking a chance and redefining their Homme line. Now, the Homme line is special. From the original Dior Homme, which is a timeless classic, we've seen flankers over the years. We had an Intense, we had a Parfum, we had an Eau, we had a Cologne. There is several different flankers, each one, I believe, either elevating the original or taking the original into a new direction. And I love those elements. We'll talk more about that in a second. But then they released the new Dior Homme 2020, which I enjoy. As I've said, I like this fragrance. I actually really like this fragrance. It is a complete departure from the original Homme. So we have technically a new DNA here. Yay! They've released one bona fide flanker to it so far. There are redefined versions of the original Homme line. There's a new Intense that came out 2020. There's a new Parfum that came out at the same time. I haven't tried the Parfum, but the Intense was disappointing. So we're not even considering those. But we do have Dior Homme Sport 2021, which is a direct flanker of this new DNA. But this does not elevate the original, in my opinion. This is kind of redundant in some ways and kind of strange in others. But I don't know. We'll see where they go with this. They could continue this line in some direction. I am curious to see where it goes. Again, they have a new DNA to play around with. So I commend Dior, but we'll see. Sauvage, we'll really see. The one thing I'm trying to not imply is that new flankers are no good. I'm not trying to say that. Because again, as I said, many of them actually seek to improve upon their originals, their predecessors, by either A, genuinely solving a problem it had like performance, or B, which is even better, taking it in a new direction, or even just deepening it. Make it more rich, make it more interesting, maybe add some other elements to it. Still contains the original DNA, but just more. I love that. It's not just a tweak, because in the grand scheme, is a tweak worth like $75 more for a new bottle if you already have the original. You be the judge. Like Acqua di Gio Profondo, Acqua di Gio Profondo Lights, that's a tweak to me. I mean, you pick and choose which one you want, but you don't need them both, honestly. Now, examples of fragrance flankers that have done what I've said, that have either elevated the original by solving the issue of performance or something, or deepening and enriching the original scent, or even taking it in a new direction. There's definitely some brands that have done that. Here's some examples. Cartier, Pacha de Cartier Parfum. Yes, it is a parfum flanker. I don't know if they actually did an eau de parfum, but the original, which is an eau de toilette, kind of behaves like an eau de parfum in its staying power. It sticks around, it fills the air. It's a very unusually strong fragrance and super high quality. And this is a bona fide flanker in my opinion. This is a flanker done right, taking it in a new direction. The original DNA is here. That old school kind of clean barbershop feel is here. Creamy, aromatic, and fresh. A little bit of a spice in there. But they take the freshness away a little bit. They make it more rich with an ambery, creamy sandalwood warmth. Add some liquor notes in here and you have a stupendous flanker. I don't ever use that word, but it applies here. This is, again, a flanker done right. It makes it more bold, it makes it more mature, it makes it more suitable for the cooler weather, a little bit more mysterious, but still a bit more modern as well. Flanker done right. And Cartier does that really well. Guerlain, the L'Homme Ideal collection. A lot of you guys are going to say, well, Guerlain's not a designer house. But the L'Homme Ideal collection is a mainstream collection. Just by way of accessibility, by way of price point, it is intended to be mainstream. Again, if you're asking me, I delineate my fragrances mainstream versus niche on a fragrance by fragrance basis. Again, that's just me, you do you. But this collection here, the original L'Homme Ideal, already a standout scent, in my opinion. May not hold the candle up to some others that have sold a whole lot better, but as a scent profile in the designer realm that is seeking to appeal, but also give us something new, it does it really well. And they released a host of flankers that have either enriched the original or taken it in a new direction. Eau de Parfum, a beautiful enriching, enhancing certain notes like cherry, like the leather, making it richer, making it warmer, making it maybe a little bit more powdery, still quite sweet, but just more of the original in the most beautiful way. You also have the cologne version, which is a fresh personality based on the original, still has that almond, that creamy, bitter almond, but made fresh with like grapefruit and some pink pepper. And it's just very lemony and lively and citrusy and bright, but still the original DNA. And then you have the L'Intense version, which makes it smoky and spicy. Again, undeniably a part of the line, but something that's just a different path along that personality track. Again, I appreciate this the most when it comes to flankers. Give us new personalities. Don't just give us tweaks. Here's another enriching of an original, and in my opinion, an improvement. This is the new H24 Eau de Parfum from Hermes. I have reviewed this kind of recently. I did a first impressions video, so to speak. And this takes the original, which I do like. It makes it richer and warmer. It makes it very much an eau de parfum. Again, concentration is more of a vibe than it is how it will perform. I've talked all about this in the video. You can check that out here. Kind of debunks this myth of, well, it's this concentration, so it should perform this way. It's not about that. Again, watch that video if you missed it. But again, this takes the original and it makes it more interesting for me. So I actually like this even more than the original. This is a borderline love for me. One that's an easy daily wear, just like the original, but more for the cooler seasons. Sticks around very, very well. So it solves that issue that a lot of people had with the original. I dig it. I dig it. Hermes, I still very much respect them these days. They're putting out good stuff. Now, let's talk about two more fragrances here that I do consider to be great flankers. But I don't really care about these fragrances, but I can't deny that they're great flankers. Acqua di Gio Profumo. Again, I don't really care about this DNA. It's done to me. I think it's been out here on the market. It's been pushed. It's been worn quite enough. But this takes that original Acqua di Gio, which was a phenomenon, and it makes it even richer and deeper, makes it stronger. This is a true flanker. This is a flanker done right. Makes it a little bit more mysterious, a little bit more mature, more grown up. Also, perhaps a little bit more polarizing as a result. It's not quite as accessible, but objectively speaking, a solid flanker. Can't deny it. Same goes with this one. This is one I don't really wear much anymore. Azzaro Wanted by Night. Again, in the context of its original, of its predecessor, this is a great flanker. It takes the original, which is kind of this gingery, bubblegum, sweet, fresh fragrance that appeals to a lot of younger guys and will get you those compliments that you might be looking for, but it takes it and it makes it warmer, spicier, richer. Cinnamon, maybe a little bit of tobacco if I'm not mistaken. It just darkens up the profile. It's not just a tweak, it's kind of a different personality. And the name suits it perfectly. It is for the nighttime, whereas the original is more for the daytime, I would say, but you can wear it anytime. Maybe a little bit less versatile here, but for that reason, I respect it because it has more focus. They took the original and they made it a little bit more specific. That's a flanker done right, if you're asking me. As I said, obviously, every single designer brand, every single one, there are no exceptions here. Their number one prerogative is to make that money. That is number one. That's how they stay afloat. That's how they keep putting out new fragrances. They want to make money. Now, the more artisanal or independent or even niche side of things, that may not be their number one because they know that they're taking a hit by not making super mass appealing mainstream fragrances. But they do want to make money so that they can keep making fragrances, but that may not be number one. The art form might come number one for them, and I respect that more than anything. In exchange for our money, we expect them to give us value with their releases, with their products. Now, value is not definitively quantifiable. It is completely subjective. It depends on the person. For me, what value in a new designer fragrance is one of the ones I just kind of talked about. It's either solving that issue, making it richer, deeper, stronger, or it's giving it more specificity, giving it a slightly different personality, but along the same lines as the original. That is value to me. And to that end, some brands are trying harder than others. Let's just say that. It's very easy to say that. I'm just going to put myself out there and maybe make people mad, but like Jimmy Choo. The Jimmy Choo man line, in my opinion, is not really trying to do anything different. That's why you don't see me talk about their fragrances on my channel. They're easy to wear. They're super fresh. They're super accessible. They're easy to buy because a lot of time they're heavily discounted, but they're not doing anything different from the maybe previous release in the collection did, or any other fragrances in that realm are doing. So if you like it, great. If that is your one super easy, dumb reach, fresh fragrance coming from the Jimmy Choo man line, that's great. But there's plenty of others that could replace it. That is not really value to me. Again, sorry if that upsets people. So yeah, some brands are trying harder than others. Either way, if we're spending the money, they're winning. It doesn't matter what products they're putting out. So again, not trying to throw shame or anything like that, not trying to be divisive, just speaking my mind, just saying what I think. And again, posing this question, how much farther can it go in relation to the designer lines that are not really trying to do anything different, that they're taking their DNA and they're writing it into the ground as far as it can go, especially as far as concentrations, like their Armani Code collection. I think they put out a parfum recently. I hear it's disappointing. I haven't tried it yet though. So I would just want to know what you think. How much farther can it go? Do you want to see it go farther? Do you want to see this concentration game continue? Or do you want to see brands give us something new? It doesn't have to be a whole new DNA, but more than a tweak. Let me know. Let's talk about it. Thanks so much for tuning in. Peace. I'll see you in the next one.